It is 6 p.m. in Banyo, Mayo Banyo division of the Adama region of Cameroon. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the primetime news on Equinoxe television. As the post-electoral unrest in Cameroon intensifies, the Cameroonian people are being crushed between the hammer of opposition protests and the anvil of government crackdowns. In an unprecedented turn of events, activities got paralyzed in several parts of the country Cameroon as a result of ghost town calls from presidential hopeful Issa Chiroma Bakare. In a high-handed and tough-worded response, the government of Cameroon, through the communications minister and government spokesperson, says the government of Cameroon will not allow acts of insurrection. This and more will be yours in this edition of the news. Thanks for joining us, ladies and gentlemen. You are on to the main newscast on Equinoxe television. We're live from Duala, Cameroon's economic capital city, Equinoxe Central News Desk. Now we're starting with the unprecedented ghost towns that rocked Cameroon today. Several localities in the country Cameroon remains ghosted as some Cameroonians took instructions from opposition candidate and presidential hopeful Issa Chiroma Bakare to stay back at home beginning Monday, just as major streets were ghosted. So many markets in parts of Cameroon too had no sellers and buyers. In the following report, Simat Njikangebe tells us the business climate that rocked the city of Duala but also several parts of the country.
Truck driver sleeps in the middle of the road. We are on the National Road number 5, where circulation was paralyzed this Monday as all trucks that were supposed to move to other localities decided not to move because of the current situation in the country. In the Far North region, all stores at the main market in Marwa remained locked without any business operator spotted around. It is a similar scenario that we met at the Vele market found in the Mayo-Danai division of the Far North region. If in Marwa no soul was spotted, in Vele some people came out but still couldn't open their stores. In the Adamawa region, the Ngaundal market was also void of business people as well as buyers. The whole market was ghosted. Though the Betua Regional Assembly placed a bus for the facilitation of movement within the town, it did not help as at the main market in Betua, no single person was seen. Apart from the market, main streets were also deserted by people, with Babajo completely left empty. No bike nor private vehicles were seen on the streets. Most persons are now requesting for a peaceful negotiation to end the ghost town which is affecting inhabitants in Cameroon.
Simanji Kengebe reporting there. And onto the economic capital city Duala, precisely at the Sandaga market. It was full to capacity yesterday, Sunday, November the 2nd, 2025, with customers scrambling to make last-minute purchases. Due to the high demand for tomatoes, there was a huge supply, leading to a significant huge supply and also a drop in price. Shoppers who were present at the market were able to buy a basket of tomatoes for 5,000 francs CFA, a far cry from last week's 15,000 francs CFA. However, many favor this glut might lead to a shortage in the days ahead in Cameroon, driving prices back up. Details with Malak Glory.
It's practically 6 p.m. at the Sandaga market in Duala this Sunday, 2nd of November 2025, when customers are still shopping around to evaluate their options before making a purchase. But tomatoes is the ultimate on their list. According to buyers, the price of tomatoes this Sunday was cheaper compared to Saturday and the past days. Several trucks came in this Sunday with much tomatoes, reason why the price dropped to about 5,000 francs and above, as everything was sold.
Le prix a baissé, ça a vraiment baissé.
She's happy to buy a basket of tomatoes at 5,500 francs compared to last week when it was sold at 15,000 francs.
Les 12 000, les 13 000, les 14 000.
They argued that the price fell sharply as tomato supplies flooded the market.
C'est-à-dire les voitures sont venues avec les produits. Jusqu'à présent, les voitures sont en train d'arriver avec les.
And some trucks are still entering with the fruit.
Avant qu'on nous donne là, c'est le problème. 7 500 suffit seulement avant de prendre.
Despite this reduction, navigating the crowd to reach the point of purchase remains a struggle for many.
Quand les éléphants bagarrent en brousse, ce sont les herbes qui souffrent.
At the same time, they continue to blame their sufferings on the present political tensions in the country, thus calling on the two parties to sit down for an inclusive dialogue so that life can return to normal in Cameroon.
That was the city of Duala, the Sanaga market. Now we stay in Duala to talk the atmosphere within the context of the nationwide ghost towns. As seen today, most parts of the city of Duala experience a total, partial or a complete paralysis in major business districts like Ndokoti, the Dakar roundabout and several others. It was unusually ghosted with very few buyers and sellers. However, few were also seen in some parts of the city. The few we saw on the streets of Duala in some markets were able to go to the markets because of what they say are security guarantee from administrative officials. They spoke to Cedric Chakuchu in the following report.
As the nationwide ghost town protest grips Cameroon, scenes of total paralysis are being reported across the country. At Ndokoti roundabout in the Duala 3 subdivision, shops remain closed this Monday. One of the largest business neighborhoods in the city of Duala does not reflect its usual busy appearance.
Ça fait peut-être pratiquement 1 heure de temps que je suis là, mais il n'y a pas les clients.
She says it's been an hour she is here to sell, but no one comes to buy. She explains that the inhabitants fear for their life due to an announcement of a 3-day ghost town that should be observed in the city of Duala. And the inhabitants, for their security, prefer staying indoors.
J'ai eu peur, je suis resté à la maison. Je venais à peine d'arriver.
Lorsque tu n'as pas l'argent dans les poches, tu vas rester à la maison pour quoi? Les enfants attendent.
The same atmosphere is observed at the Dakar market. Here, vendors brave the odds, insisting that they have to come out and sell, citing the guarantees given by the senior divisional officer of the Ruri division. Upon my arrival, as soon as I started setting up my goods, I was asked to close my shop. This was to respect the ghost town policy. I insisted and said I wouldn't close. The senior divisional officer reassured us of our safety when we come to open our shops. So why should I close?
Je n'ai pas trop tenu compte de ça parce que je sais que la ville morte n'existe pas dans mon pays. Je suis dans un pays de paix.
In Bonaberi, busy areas like Granga, Carrefour Musiques or Marché de Rail were nearly deserted. Shops remained shuttered, roadside vendors absent.
When I open my shop in the morning, people come and tell me I should lock my shop, that we have to rig these ghost towns, and besides that, the people that were coming and threatening me, so I better close my shop. No, now my goods are inside and some of them are getting bad. So I don't have no other choice than to obey the people's voice.
Difficult these days. We are going out, we have been going out, coming in and going out. There's no way moving. I brought my bike, even just to tie the chain, it was difficult. Even to change the sprocket, another problem. So it seems the whole, I've gone right down to Rai. From this Rai, I was at Anse Road, where we usually buy our parts. It's difficult, it's locked. And so it making people to be so horrible, difficult.
This act of silent protest, which began on Monday, is a peaceful way of resisting against what most Cameroonians describe as a stolen election and decades of political repression.
And today's ghost towns or lockdowns follows protests that rocked Cameroon after voting and also the proclamation of results of the October 12, 2025 presidential election in Cameroon. These street protests in some cases met with high-handed response from the government of Cameroon, qualified by right defenders as crackdowns, and political leaders in Cameroon have praised Archbishop Samuel Kleda, who is the Archbishop of the Duala Metropolitan Archdiocese, for condemning the violation of the rights of Cameroonians to choose their leader. His statement on the post-election protest is seen as a deep call for change in the country. Babila Jonathan tells us more in the following report.
On n'organise pas une élection pour tuer les citoyens.
An election is not organized to kill citizens.
On ne gouverne pas un peuple avec les armes.
A country is not governed with guns.
Aucun gouvernement au monde.
The Archbishop of the Duala Metropolitan Archdiocese of the Roman Catholic Church, His Grace Samuel Kleda, laments over the post-election violence and the destructive and deadly consequences of the protest that erupted after the Constitutional Council proclaimed President Paul Biya winner of the October 12, 2025 presidential election.
Ils viennent ici traduire toute la frustration de l'immense majorité des populations.
The mayor of Lum, Guy Mesmin Kouyaté, says the Archbishop expressed the frustration of majority of Cameroonians over what is perceived as the impossibility of change through the ballot box, the confiscation of freedoms, and the people's sovereign right to choose their leader.
Monseigneur Kleda a maintes reprises tiré la sonnette d'alarme.
He goes further to underscore the fact that His Grace Samuel Kleda has always spoken about the plight of Cameroonians and the fact that justice is indispensable to guarantee peace in a nation.
Les Camerounais ont longuement accumulé les frustrations.
La sortie de Monseigneur Kleda à ce titre-là est donc à saluer. Elle est une sortie grave, une sortie solennelle.
Steve Amara, campaign manager of candidate Hiram Samuel Iyodi, qualifies the statement of His Grace Samuel Kleda as a solemn call to reflection on what Cameroon needs to build a nation where social justice and shared prosperity thrive.
And a related story, civil society actors and human rights advocates and defenders across Cameroon on their part have frowned at what they qualify as torture meted on young Cameroonians arrested during the post-election unrest across Cameroon, notably by gendarmerie officers and police officers across Cameroon. They are also criticizing the statement made by the governor of the Littoral region that parents will pay the hospital bills of their children injured and arrested during the protest, an outing they say violates international conventions and respect of human rights ratified by the nation Cameroon. Innocent as has more.
This video taken at the Duala Territorial Gendarmerie headquarters. Young people who were arrested during the post-election protest are subjected to punishment exercises in the rain. Such maltreatment meted on protesters has been condemned by members of the civil society. For some of the arrested protesters, it is hard for their families to know their whereabouts. A group of lawyers formed for this purpose reports experiencing the same restrictions.
Nous savons bien que quand on est arrêté,
the first thing to do when someone is arrested is to inform their family and give them the right to visit. This is not the case in Cameroon. We regret that some of the arrested persons are incarcerated with injuries and unstable health conditions, a poor image given to Cameroon.
Voilà l'image qu'on donne de notre pays en matière de droits de l'homme.
For the past week, police stations, gendarmerie units, and the judicial police have been holding persons arrested. A group of about 100 people has been placed in administrative detention at the Duala Central Prison, with medical care to be paid for by their families, according to the governor of the Littoral region. A detail that has outraged human rights organizations.
Nous avons été scandalisés.
The governor's statement is outrageous. Remember that Cameroon has ratified international conventions on the respect of human rights at all levels. This means that persons arrested must be fed and treated when sick. Cameroon has to respect all these, but hearing a governor make such a statement that their bills will be paid by their families is in gross violation of international conventions Cameroon ratified. It is shameful.
C'est une honte pour le Cameroun, même à l'échelle internationale.
The College of Lawyers formed to defend the demonstrators reports that more than 1,500 people have been arrested, including minors in Duala, Marwa, Bafoussam and Garwa, among other places. This influx exacerbates the already alarming conditions of detention in prisons and security units. Our gendarmerie units and police stations do not provide appropriate detention facilities as recommended by international instruments ratified by Cameroon. No chairs and beds are found in the detention facilities in our country. It is first-degree torture served to inmates in already overcrowded prisons. Non-governmental organizations point out that Cameroon was recently criticized by the United Nations for the increase in torture cases in the country. The Cameroon Bar Association has also called on the government to address the arbitrary arrests that have accompanied the repression of demonstrations in this post-election period.
And while the opposition stands firm on their position, the government too is not moving from its position, pushing the Cameroonian people into a situation like caught between the hammer and the anvil. Now, the position of the government of Cameroon is that which was clearly spelled out by Cameroon's Minister of Communication, government spokesperson René Emmanuel Sadi, who wants that the government will not act or allow acts of insurrection and violence following the presidential election, and has vowed to punish those responsible. He condemns what he qualifies as irresponsible directives aimed at plunging the nation Cameroon into total chaos. Immaculate Fogwe has more in the following report.
The Cameroonian government takes a firm stance against post-election protest, warning that those responsible for violence will face severe punishment. Minister René Emmanuel Sadi of Communication condemns calls for insurrection, ghost towns and civil disobedience, stating that such actions threatens national stability.
In this regard, the government reminds that such acts of insurrection are provided for and punished by Article 116 of the Cameroonian Penal Code, which stipulates that anyone who, in an insurrectional movement, provokes or facilitates the gathering of insurgents by any means whatsoever or hinders the exercise of public authority shall be punished by imprisonment of 10 to 20 years.
The government also warns international partners against interfering in the country's internal affairs, urging them to respect Cameroon's sovereignty.
We call on representatives of friendly countries and international partners to be objective in their assessment of the issues at stake and their positions on the country's structural realities. Our primary duty is to protect Cameroon's interest, and we will not remain silent when your actions are likely to undermine our relations.
The Cameroon government appeals to the people to remain calm and patriotic, assuring that the presidential elections are now a thing of the past and that the priority should be the implementation of Paul Biya's 7-year term, who was declared winner with 53.66% of the votes by the Constitutional Council on October 27th.
Immaculate Fogode ending our series on the post-electoral atmosphere in Cameroon. Now, we're taking you to something else at the Bamenda Central Prison, that's in the northwest region of Cameroon. Hardship meets hope. Despite overcrowded cells, food shortage, and limited legal support, inmates are striving to rebuild their lives, transforming waste into useful products and giving new meaning to green jobs. A reporter in the Northwest Regional Chieftain Bamenda Mbustela visited the prison facility during a socio-cultural event and compared the following report.
For most inmates, life behind bars is defined by pain, poverty and isolation, but within the high walls of the Bamenda Central Prison, a quiet transformation is taking shape. With support from civil society organizations, inmates are gathering practical skills, turning discarded materials into reusable bags, furniture, and clothing accessories.
To be in the prison does not mean it's the end of your life. Because some people are in the prison for one reason or the other. Some people are guilty, some people are not yet guilty, people are just detained, like incarcerated. However, the prison is meant to rehabilitate. It's meant to see you to get reformed so that when you come out of the prison, you become a better person, a productive person.
Behind these efforts lie stark realities. Overcrowding, poor nutrition, and lack of legal aid remain daily struggles.
Due to this ongoing crisis, the prison is so choked up in such a way that we don't even have space. Food also, at times, is a challenge to us because we eat once a day. And many people are also here that they have some little issues in court, but they have nobody to follow their case.
We the disabled, we have the one-handed people, we have the one-hand people, we are begging for artificial arms, we need artificial legs, we beg.
Human rights defenders say such programs are not just rehabilitative, but they restore dignity and create opportunities for reintegration.
We must understand that there are some people who are here for some flimsy reasons. And so that's why us and the headaches were fighting to see that people that are here for flimsy reasons should not be here. Because some people are here for awaiting trial for many years. And it is against and contrary to the criminal procedure code.
Amid the daily struggle for survival, these inmates are finding purpose in production, proving that even behind bars, green jobs can grow from pain.
And on to health, here is the month of November after October, the Pink Month, which is dedicated to breast cancer awareness. Cameroon now joins the international community in observing the Blue Month, formerly known as Movember, on the occasion of Prostate Cancer Awareness Month, which began on the 1st of November. Urologists are raising an alarm about the importance of early detection to curb the high prevalence of the disease, which affects about 7.13% of the male population across Cameroon. We have details with Lucy Esieliengo.
On the occasion of November Men's Cancer Awareness Month, Romeo is among the first to seize the opportunity to get screened.
2 years ago, I have anemia, so I'm here to come and do some checking about my health.
Prostate cancer remains a silent killer disease. According to recent statistics in Cameroon, about 7.13% of the male population is affected, with over 2,200 new cases reported each year.
The cancer of the prostate is the development of some cells inside the prostate. This cell can go out of the prostate in the bones, in the bladder.
Dr. Noaham Mankong, a urologist, says men aged above 60, as well as those with particular race or family history, are at higher risks of developing prostate cancer.
The disease usually starts to manifest at 65 years old, but we have some situation where patient has this disease at 50 years old. We know that obesity is a risk factor of the cancer of the prostate.
Early stage prostate cancer rarely causes noticeable symptoms, though there are warning signs that should not be ignored.
We can have difficulties to urinate. The patient can wake up in the night many times, like 3 times, to urinate, and the patient cannot contain his urine. After that, we can have blood in the urine, we can have blood in the sperm.
Each year, from November 1st to 30th, Movember, the Blue Month, is dedicated to raising awareness about prostate cancer, testicular cancer, and men's health. At the Lakentini Hospital, a campaign is currently on the way to sensitize men about the disease.
The campaign is going on from today till the 14th of November. The first thing is that we are doing consultation, free consultation to all the men. Yes, in our country we treat cancer of the prostate. We can do the surgery of the prostate, we can do radiotherapy, we can do hormonotherapy, chemotherapy, and immunotherapy.
While prostate cancer cannot be completely prevented, adopting a healthy lifestyle, including a balanced diet rich in fruits and vegetables, regular physical activity, maintaining a healthy weight, and avoiding tobacco can help lower the risks.
It's here Lucy Liengo with that health report, as you got from how the call was made during an awareness and screening campaign today at the Lakintini Hospital in Cameroon's economic capital city, Duala. Ladies and gentlemen, it is with that health report that will put an end to this edition of your primetime newscast on your #1 television network across Cameroon and Africa, Equinoxe. For technical reasons, we're not going to be having talking points, but we urge you to stay in the company of interesting programs on Equinoxe.